They learned how to win again, Julio. That is the Oakland A's. So that's been cool. We got one yesterday. We got one of two today. The first game was pretty frustrating because
Yes.
other than what was it, like that 8th inning where they scored like 3 runs or something like that.
It was a close game, yeah. And then
pretty close game, and we had runners on
Kendall
base,
area broke it
nobody's
up.
business, and I was like, "Fuck, this is gonna happen again." And then game 2, like offense kind of came to life again.
So it was pretty nice day for it to have double day games because and Whitney, I think I can't remember. Right. So first off, Chris and I hung out in person for this time in a few months last night. So that was tight. Pretty dope. But and Whitney, my girlfriend, went back in office starting today, and they're going a few days a week.
Yeah.
I'm still working from home. And of course, my first day work from home without her here, it's a A's doubleheader day game. I'm like,
so you're just gonna have it on the TV all day while you're
working? I'm like, this rules.
Where do you typically work in your house?
Here, most of the time. And but today, just because like she usually works in the living room, so I was like, cool, I'll go work out there. And it worked because the A's won a game when I was out there. So
yeah. Well, I tweeted it earlier today, but it was still funny how the home game for the A's, they still lost. The game that was technically a home game, which was the first game, they still lost.
I was kind of expecting.
They still can't figure out how to win at home.
I was kind of expecting Dave Cavill to put some tweets about, oh, well, nobody's at these games in Detroit. Oh, look, it's a poor attendance here.
I think he's past that phase after he just, even like the national media picked up that he was getting in fights with seagulls on Twitter and just like going off the rails that one night. I think that he's kind of past that point at this right now.
It's just every once in a while.
And also he's got to save it for Bruce. He's got to save it for Damon Bruce.
Oh yeah. It's just every once in a while, he'll just get on that bender of just saying like, I'm going to say some outlandish shit tonight.
I feel like he's been pretty good for about a week. I don't know.
Are we going to have that'll be a new thing on our Twitter. We'll have a Dave's Without Incident, and we'll just have Dave Cavill's head. Dave's Without Incident.
Oh, it's a Town Tailgate podcast. We are a podcast that roots for that team that kind of sucks right now, the Oakland A's. But things are turning around because we won 2 games today. You got an interesting show today. We're going to talk about the Mariners kind of going downhill a little bit. It's not making our prediction look very good for the West by me and Julio. The Madison Bumgarner incident when he got thrown out of the game, and a no-hitter happened, as well as a bunch of A's news. Got a lot of roster moves. We'll get into all that. But let's start with the big news of the night. It just happened about 30 minutes ago. It ended. Reid Detmers had a no-hitter against the Rays. It is the first no-hitter for the Angels. He plays for the Angels, by the way, since Jared Weaver, I believe, in 2008 or something like that. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I know someone tweeted that. They just completely whooped the Rays tonight. And Anthony Rendon had a home run from the left, batting lefty, the first time ever batting lefty. So that was fun, Julio.
Reid Detmers. Well, don't forget they had a combined no hitter when it was. Oh my God, I'm totally. Who's the pitcher? Tyler Skaggs. When Tyler Skaggs passed away, they threw a combined no hitter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but this is the first complete game no hitter.
Yeah.
And he only threw 2 strikeouts tonight. That's the weirdest thing.
A lot of ground outs, a lot of fly balls, huh?
Yeah, like your defense really, like you put them to work the whole game. And if you talk to any Angels fan, and I'm sure John will attest to this when we bring him on next, Reid has been the talk of just wait until they come up for a few years now for the Angels organization. And tonight proved it. He threw a complete game no-hitter. I think his pitch count was like in 108 or something like that.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's weird that we've been talking about the Angels about, maybe they'll do it since the day we recorded this podcast in the first place. Is it time? Is it time? Are we actually gonna start
I'm not
taking
there
them?
yet, bro.
Yeah, like so that's my because I knew we were gonna say no.
Mm-mm.
What's it going? What has to happen for you to be like, okay, I believe it. They're legit. What needs to happen for you to push you over the edge and be like, all right, I believe in them a little bit.
Every fucking year we have teams that start off hot and they're in first place for like the first 2 months and then they completely fall off because the talent of their roster turns out to be exactly what we expected. It's just like they start off hot, scouting reports aren't there, and people and scouts and front offices catch up. It's or coaching staffs catch up. It's simple as that. They have to be in a playoff game in October for me to finally believe it. That's literally what has to happen. I'm not gonna hop on this train yet. So he threw 108 pitches, only threw 68 strikes. So that's interesting, but he only walked one. He had 11 ground outs and 8 flyouts. So that's what it was. A lot of ground outs. Wow, 11. Good job. No errors though. So that's cool. Just had the one walk. That's what screwed him out of a perfect game. How stacked has the Angels farm system been in the past few years though? Like, is this guy like a top, like a ace level prospect, or is he like
Yeah, if you could, I'll look it up right now.
status
But
where it's like he's top of rotation, he's not ace level?
He's been like usually like at least like a top 25 in all of baseball prospect for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But you have to think about this. The biggest, and we talked about this meme that Danny Vietti posted, that it's always been the pitching. The offense has always been there.
Yeah.
Whether it's guys just not being consistent or not, it seems like it's after years and years and years and years and years of this conversation, it seems like it's kind of turning like over the wheel a little bit with it, because now Ohtani's been awesome. He had a rough start against, I want to say it was Houston. I can't remember. But like he's been pretty good. He's lived up to the prospect of you calling him your MVP signing on the season. We just saw what Reid Detmers did, complete game no-hitter. Patrick Sandoval's been a nice little picking up where he left off in last season. Noah Syndergaard's been pretty solid. And then Michael Lorenzen actually been like a really good piece coming out of there too. So like if those are your 5 guys in your rotation, and I'd imagine if they really want to go over the top and make a trade in the summer, they could, because there is some, I know we were joking with John with him trying to get Frankie Montas from us. We're like, yeah, well, we want Joe Adell if you're going to do that. So like they have the pieces where if they want to go over the top, they could. It's just like, to me, what's really going to sell me is like, are you going to make it through the dog days of summer? Are you going to be able to, how are you going to be playing in August? Because if you're not going to be there in August, then that's it. Like we knew you are who you thought. What's the old, they are who we thought they were. What is the old phrase? You know what I mean?
You had it.
I did say it.
We are. They thought that we thought.
Yeah. All right. I figured it out. Cool.
So they're 8th in the league in ERA. Let's see what their WHIP is. MLB website is very slow right now. They're 4th in the league in WHIP. So I mean, the stats are there to back them up. They're doing the right thing. Let's see what their strikeouts are. They are, although this is not a good metric, they are 16th in the league in strikeouts, but pitching is not all about strikeouts, especially not in today's game. And let's see what their opposing average is. They rank 4th in the opposing average. I mean, it's there. Like the stats are there to back it up. They're doing it right.
They got a pretty, I think they're 2nd in run differential in the American League as well. 2nd best record in the American League right now.
But here's the kicker for them, for the reason why they're in first place in the West. They have the best OPS in the league. I mean, they're just seeing it. You know what I mean? Like they're 5th in average. Let's see what they are in runs. And they're 1st in runs. I mean, they're killing it on both sides. I'd have to look at their schedule. I feel like I've said this 3 weeks in a row that I want to take a close look at their schedule to see like if their matchups have been favorable or not. But like, I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I'm having a hard time arguing this, but it's at the end of the day, it's the fucking Angels. I just can't do it, dude. I just can't get behind it. I can't believe it until I see it. Until I see them in a game one of the ALDS or the wild card round.
They're like the Chris Paul of
exactly. It's a great comparison.
baseball.
It's a great comparison.
And then Chris Paul finally made it to a finals. He kind of got over the hump. We're like, yeah,
and they
hope you lose, and he did, and it was awesome.
Anyway,
speaking of losing, the biggest loser of last week is umpire Danny Bellino. If you guys, I'm sure you all saw the news. He was in charge of ejecting Madison Bumgarner after his first inning of the game. So to paint you a picture, Mad Bum was pitched, and the Diamondbacks were going against the Miami Marlins. In the first inning, already some pretty questionable strike zone was going on. Stuff was just outside of the plate. It really could have gone either way. Mad Bum was again the calls. Mad Bum's a big baby. So, of course, he was like, no, Madison Bumgarner. And that's what he sounds like, right, Chris?
Word for word. He sounds like the creepy dude from Silence of the Lambs, which is the impression you did.
Buffalo Bill? Ooh, yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. Buffalo Bum.
That was how you sounded. That's not actually how Madison Bumgarner would sound. So I was just making that joke.
Anyways, he pretty much bad calls all over the place. He goes back to the dugout. He says some shit to the home plate umpire. And then one thing that's been happening in baseball lately is instead of checking the glove, when a pitcher goes back into the dugout, they just check their hand. So if you're watching YouTube, they just do like a quick swab of the hand. All right, you're clean.
Yeah.
Except the umpire was doing this for like a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And he was looking at Mad Bum in the eyes the whole time.
Yeah, he's just staring him down.
So of course,
Mad Bum doesn't notice it at first. He's kind of looking down, just watching him, like, stroke his hand, and then he kind of glares up and sees that he's just staring at him, and he like looks back up. He looks down, looks back up, and just like, I don't know exactly what he says, but it looks like kind of just like, what the fuck are you looking at? And then the umpire's just like, oh, cool, you just gave me every reason for me to finally throw you out of this game after you were bitching all game, and he did it. Look, man. It takes two to tango. Madison Bumgarner is just like, he's known for just being a dick when it comes to like, just he's very difficult and maybe not a dick, but he's just very difficult and kind of a diva when it comes to things like this. And he is not afraid to say what he thinks. But like when you're an umpire, you're supposed to be impartial. If you're like, everything about this scenario was like he was looking for some reason to throw him out of the game, and he was. But the main thing was he was baiting him, for lack of a better word. He was antagonizing him. I don't know, and he's baiting him to trying to get him to react, to do something stupid to get him thrown out. It goes back to the same issues that we have with Angel Hernandez and all this shit. It's just like, these guys, for whatever reason, I mean, they have a fucking stronger union than the fucking longshoremen, dude. Like, it's insane. Like they could murder someone and they still would be working the next day. It absolutely blows my mind. There's no accountability for any of these guys. And a lot of these guys have been doing this for way too long. That's kind of part of the problem, is that they're so used to the old school style of, one, society, two, the way that umpires have been treating this game, where like they are the letter of the law. But there's just too much evidence that they're not good at their jobs. Like, they just need to be better at it, or they need to be fucking reprimanded for it. Where like the NBA has been like, except for Scott Foster, for some reason Scott Foster is this way, but NBA refs are for the most part pretty good because they're held accountable. Like, it's just not the case with baseball. They're, in my opinion, it's the worst officiating of any professional sport. And it's part of the reason why the game is, it's part of the many reasons that me and you keep bitching about what are killing the game.
I still think NBA refereeing is worse. How? But I think because it's just so impartial to, how about I say that?
I think the
You're kind of
NBA
putting me on the spot.
rules are worse when it comes to this. Not the NBA referees. The NBA refs are calling it the way that the rules are written. A lot of these like foul calls and like these fucking reviewing fouls and stuff like that is ridiculous, but that's just the way the rules are.
I feel like baseball umpires, I think there's a lot more of ego to it. More than the NBA. I think that's the problem to me is I think
Yes.
umpires are more egotistical in that sense than
but
NBA
the problem
refs are.
with baseball umpires is there's too many rules that are written based on the discretion of the umpire. So it's like based on his opinion. So like because their egos are so big, they have so much power because so many of these rules are based on what their judgment is.
I mean, at the end of the day, back-to-back weeks, our big three involves umpires in a way. Because last week
this is the third episode in a row. Didn't we talk about Angel Hernandez in the first week? I may be wrong.
No, we did not. I thought we would have, but we talked about last week how that one player in the minors got a ghost strikeout because he took too long outside the box. But
yeah,
but here's the thing about all this whole thing. We just shit on Dan Bellino. He actually apologized. Like afterwards, he was like, I was told to umpire every game as if my children were sitting in the front row, and I fell short of those expectations this week. Well, I can't go back and change what happened. I take full accountability. I will learn from this incident, and I'll sincerely apologize. So good for him. He figured out. I think this is just Mad Bum just being a bitch. Sorry for lack of better words, but did you watch the John Boy breakdown?
I'm still of the belief that it takes two to tango. No, I have not watched that John Boy breakdown.
He does a pretty good lip ring and a solid impression of Mad Bum, which is like, fuck you, pussy.
I love John Boy's just voice when he does those, and just like, this guy's like, yeah, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, what's crazy. So anyway, Madison Bumgarner goes this guy and he's like, fuck you, guy. And this guy is like, I don't know what you mean. Like he's just like so sarcastic.
He does is the line he kept saying because Madman kept telling the umpire, he's like, I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up.
Yeah. That sounds like
anyways, next topic, and last of the big three. Chris and I's preseason prediction.
Big Trace.
Yeah, we're
Mucho Trace.
Because we're not happened. What?
Cinco de Mayo just happened. So
yeah,
I'm giving a Spanish theme.
We're not doing well in some of our predictions. Chris has been giving.
I'm sorry.
Chris has been giving me a lot of crap over this past weekend because I was like, I wasn't high on the Tigers. But I was like, hey, loser. I picked them as a wild card team. And even on the broadcast today, they were talking about like, hey, they have a good team. They just they can't figure it out right now.
They do. Dude, I will say they do have a good team. Austin Meadows, Javi Baez, Spencer Torkelson, like their team they have some good pitching. Like I will say they do. Pineda pitched today. Like they have some good players.
Dude.
But they still
Austin Meadows is batting 282 and has no home runs. How the hell is that? There's a guy who hit like 30 plus bombs last year.
Yeah, normally it's the opposite. Normally it's like around Mendoza line, but he has like fucking 35 home runs.
Besides the point. So why are we talking about this? The Mariners suck right now. We both picked the Mariners to win the West. I picked the Mariners to go to the World Series. I don't know what I was drinking that night, but as of right, actually, I believe they're playing right now. Still, we're recording on a Tuesday night, May 10th. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. Jeff Passan is actually the person responsible for this one, for just them falling apart, because he actually put out a tweet where I have to find the exact thing, but he pretty much said, oh, they're leading in this category. They're leading in this category. Don't watch now, folks, but the Seattle Mariners are now the best team in baseball. Yeah, he said something like that. Since Jeff Passan called them the best team in the AL West, this was 6 days ago. The Mariners have gone
the best team in baseball. Their best team in
the AL West. They've gone 1-6, lost 3 straight series, have been outscored 26-17, including 2 straight shutouts, and they're in third. I believe they're still in third because
one of the Cespedes family barbecue guys is a Mariners fan. I forgot which one. So he's probably pretty pissed.
But it's
fun.
Are you worried about it? Are you worried about your prediction?
I don't know. I mean, the Angels are. I mean, when we looked at the stats in the earlier segment, it's hard to ignore them with the Angels. So, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm not sold on the Astros, even though they're the Astros. They have a lot of good talent, but I don't know. I mean, there's three best players, two best players. George Springer, Carlos Correa. They're they're probably their two of their three best players in the last 4 years just left their team. Like that's quite the blow. So I wasn't high on them in the beginning of the season, but they're still the Astros, so it's hard to bet against them. The Angels, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. You think it's like a Oh, by the way, the Kings and the Oilers went in overtime. You think it's like a we were talking about that before the podcast. Sorry, listeners. That was a weird sidebar. Do you think it's like a mesh thing, like a chemistry glue thing? Because like they have so much talent, young talent on their team. They should be playing so much better.
No, I think it's just the young talent that's there just hasn't figured it out yet. Julio Rodriguez is starting turning around. I think I saw a stat where like in the last week or two, he's been hitting like 285. Like Jarek Kelenic has been having a lot of issues as well, just kind of figuring it out. Matt Brash, who was getting a ton of hype going into the season, he was like a fantasy dark horse. He just got sent back down to AAA. I think just a lot of these guys, they don't know how to be consistent and winning. And the thing that's just going to have to learn right now is just, and the only way you learn is by losing, right?
You know what it is? You know what they're missing? Is leadership. You want to know why? Because their leader, their captain,
Kyle
team,
Seager
the past
retired.
5 years retired. Yeah, exactly. Kyle Seager retired. That's what it is. And they don't know how to deal with adversity. And man, they could use him right now. Why did he retire? He was good. It doesn't make any sense to me. 35.
I thought he was going to go to Texas and go play with this Bretta.
35 home runs last year.
Yeah.
I can't judge someone's situation. Maybe he's got like health issues that he's not talking about. So it's fair.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I have a feeling that they'll try to make a move just to bring in more veteran leadership. I know like someone like Nelson Cruz has spent some time there. He's probably doing the Nationals aren't doing anything. So I can imagine they're going to ship him at the deadline. But I think I think you hit on the head. I think you just need somebody who can teach them just how to be consistent at the major league level. So we'll see. I think they're going to be really excited to see what they're going to be doing because of like we've talked about them before. They have so many moving pieces. They have so many things that they could do.
Who's their second baseman?
Adam Frazier.
That's
pretty dope. Yeah. And then like Dylan Moore is like their backup.
You know, they could use Tony Kemp.
Go to hell. You go to hell, Chris.
I'm just saying, veteran leader.
Tony Kemp will never leave Oakland. No.
You know, if we're gonna suck, we might as well trade some people. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.